an Illini basketball postgame show from No One Asked Us. He's Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee, coming to you after the Illini fall in West Lafayette tonight, 84-68 to Purdue. Give us a follow on all of our social media. Give us a like on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. That would be great. Follow him. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at The Logan Lee. Our show at No One Asked Us Pod. Obviously, we're not as hyped for these post as we have been for some of these post-game shows. Coming into this game was a game that I think both Craig and I kind of, I don't want to say expected to lose. I did not think Illinois was probably going to win this game. Certainly thought it was winnable, and at times tonight I think it was. But certainly by the end of the game, that proved to not be the case. Purdue is really good. I think that's the moral of the story. I think we have been talking about them for a while. There seems to have been some sort of debate around the country and around the region as to, is Purdue the best team in the conference? Will Purdue win the conference? I think they showed it tonight. I think Purdue is far and away the best team in the Big Ten. We said it in our live stream. I put it out on Twitter. Craig said something similar on Twitter. I think Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten that's not named Purdue. This wasn't a great look for Illinois. They missed a lot of shots, did not have a lot going for them. But they fall to a very good Purdue team who came into the game ranked number 3 in the country and will likely maybe even move up a spot after Auburn lost. I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
Either way, that's where we're at right now. Craig, you've had a couple minutes to digest. Where are you at? How you think? What are you thinking?
Same thing I said at the end of the stream. I don't know if you mentioned it. Again, I don't listen to you when you talk on the show most of the time.
We've been over this.
We did do a live watch along stream that was very good for an hour and 15 minutes of the stream, and then very sombering for the last 45 minutes of the stream. And at the end of the game, I said the same thing I'm going to say now. I don't look too much into this. I know the score says it's a 16-point loss, but I don't know that these two teams are separated by that much. Purdue just didn't miss a shot in the second half, and Illinois couldn't throw it in the water if they fell out of a boat. They threw it out of a boat in the second half. So it wasn't a 16-point game. Yes, the score says it was, but it really wasn't. Purdue's just a bad matchup for Illinois. And the first matchup, I know, went to double overtime, close game without Kofi. I don't know if that's an outlier or I'm not sure what happened there, but I just don't think Illinois competes well with Purdue. I think Purdue beats Illinois 8 or 9 times out of 10. So I'm not taking too much stock into this. Like you just said, I think Illinois is still the second best team in the conference. I watched the first 30 minutes of game time of Wisconsin and Michigan State. Illinois beat both those teams. I don't think either of those teams bring anything to the table that Illinois can't handle. Ohio State, we haven't seen Illinois play against yet. So there might be some competition there just because EJ Liddell creates so many matchup problems. But for the most part, Purdue is in a class of their own in the Big Ten. I think we all knew it going into tonight, and tonight proves it. Now, they are a different animal at home. Mackey is a very, very tough place to play, as we saw, 16-point loss. I think they might have another loss on their schedule. I don't know who, but I could see them stubbing their toe at one more time, which would give Illinois another chance to claim the Big Ten title. But I tweeted it in the second half. The Big Ten tiers are simple. Purdue's here. Illinois is here. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan State are here, and then everyone else. I don't think it's close. The gap between Illinois and Purdue is closer than the gap between Illinois and that group of 3 is what I think. Long story short, I know I'm kind of rambling here. Don't take too much stock into the loss tonight. I was expecting a loss. It sucks that it was by 16, and it looks like Illinois got blown out when, in all actuality, they did. But nothing happened tonight that I wasn't prepared for. Don't say I was expecting, but I was prepared for a game like this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not very often that a few of these things happen. It's not very often that Illinois goes up against a very strong post presence that could match Kofi Cockburn. Purdue has 2 of those players.
Mm-hmm.
it's not very often that Illinois is playing against a team that has more offensive weapons than they do, or at least a number that can really match Illinois. Purdue has that too. That's kind of just to go off of what you said. I think there are certainly games out there Illinois could still lose this season. So I'm not ready to, say they're definitely going to be the number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament or anything, but I do think they're the second best team in the conference. And in terms of talent, in terms of what they have on the court, it just really wasn't there tonight. Shots weren't falling. They just were not getting much from the outside, which is what a lot of what this team relies on. It's kind of crazy to me to see even some of the numbers that they did put up. It was pretty much just 3 players that did most of the scoring tonight. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but just as you said, not really a lot to take away from, and I wouldn't look into it either too much. There's still plenty of basketball to be played, and I think this was kind of what we were expecting, although I think the score was probably a little more lopsided than we had anticipated. So in terms of numbers and such, Kofi did finish with 18 points, 7 rebounds for him. I honestly, and I said it in the show, I thought he would have had like 12 points. Like, I didn't even realize he had that many. So 18 and 7 for him. Alfonso Plummer had 14 points. He hit 4 threes. He was 4 for 8. Andre Curbelo, 15 points. Kind of similar to the Kofi thing. I don't think he played that well. He made a lot of stupid passes. He is still getting back into this mix. I think we saw more of him again tonight than I was anticipating. But he still finished with 15 points, hit a 3, made 6 free throws, 6 or 6 at the free throw line. Had a couple nice drives to the basket. Had 1 drive to the basket at the very end of the first half for Illinois to go up 2, which was nice. But other than those 3, not a lot of scoring. RJ Melendez did finish with 8 points. He was Illinois' 4th leading scorer.
Didn't miss a shot.
No, 3 for 3, 1 for 3 from 3, and then a free throw. So he had 8 points
from 3,
or 1 from 1, whatever I said. Yeah, 1 for 1. And then Jake Grandison had 7 points. Trent Frazier finished with 2. DeMonte Williams finished with 3. And then Omar Payne also had 1 free throw as well. So that was the scoring for the Illini. On the other end, Jaden Ivey went off in the second half. The dude had 4 points in the first half. And 2 of those came as free throws at the very end of the half. And then he went off to score 22 points in the second half. You asked the question during the live stream, can he play himself into the Big Ten Player of the Year conversation or into the Big Ten Player of the Year title? I'm not going to say that's a no. He's certainly a first team all Big Ten player at this point. I just think there's several guys that are in that mix. So maybe. I don't know that it's a hard yes or a hard no. I think Johnny Davis is probably still the front runner. Kofi is certainly in the conversation. EJ Liddell's in the conversation. Whoever you said, Keegan Murray is in the conversation, certainly. But Jaden Ivey's good. He's good. He's a lottery pick.
Top 10, top 5 pick.
This will be his last season at Purdue. I don't doubt it. Zach Edey, who didn't play much in the first half because of foul trouble, finished with 13 points for them. Travion Williams finished with 10. So that was a lot of their scoring. Stefanovic had 7. Eric Hunter had 9. I think the big thing that we do need to touch on too, which we don't really need to stress about it too much because I think everything is fine, but there was a moment where we thought that the Illini season flat out ended. When Trent went down with what appeared to be a very serious knee injury. The way he reacted, the way he struggled to get off the floor, the whole arena got quiet. The broadcast went quiet. Illini Twitter was freaking out. I was freaking out. You were freaking out. We didn't even talk much in those 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know that we said anything. And then they cut back to the game and we see he's still on the bench and that it looks like he's fine. And shortly after that, we found out he just bumped knees with somebody else and he was back in the game. So crisis averted there. because we've been waiting for this team to be healthy, and we thought that might have been the end to it. So don't need to stress on that too much because we did see him come back into the game. So I think all should be good there. What else? What else you want to talk about? What other takeaways you have? Anything? I know you don't want to read too much into this game.
Honestly, not much. I mean, it just came down to Illinois shot. Oh, what they shoot 35.7% in the second half, 10 of 28, and Purdue shot 64.5, 20 of 31. I mean, that's what it came down to. Like I said in that quick recap, that's all it was. Illinois wasn't defending in the second half. Not sure. Again, when we do these streams, I love doing the streams to talk through the games with you and all that stuff, but I just don't pay attention as well and as close as I do when we're not talking through it. And it kind of got out of hand quick in the second half, so I really started to tune it out. I don't know what allowed Ivy to go off like he did. I just wasn't paying close enough attention. He was just getting to his spots. I do remember a couple times that Alfonso Plummer was on him, and if Alfonso Plummer's on him, you're not going to stop him. He's going to get whatever he wants because Alfonso Plummer is the biggest defensive liability in the last 10 years for Illinois. I mean, probably some sarcasm there. I don't. Off the top of my head, he's really, really bad defensively.
The dude's a bucket. Dude's a bucket. But
let me finish my thought
worth a lick.
He's the one that kept them in the game in the first half. He hit 3 or 4 of the hardest threes I've ever seen.
2 in a row.
2 in a row
to pull him back.
Yeah. So you have to have him out there, but he just can't guard anybody. I mean, I don't. Normally, like I said in our last post game, I like to pick out 3 little talking points for these post game shows. I just don't know what it is other than Purdue's just better than Illinois. And the second half was just a tale of 2 different teams. I don't know that there's another storyline in there other than I don't think Illinois needs to be worried about anything. I think this is just a bad matchup for Illinois. I do not want to see Purdue again this season. I know you said you want to see them, but you want it to be on the Sunday of the Big Ten tournament. I hope they get upset because I don't think this team
let me rephrase what I said. I would be fine with seeing them if Illinois is playing in the Big Ten championship game. Like, that's fine. Whatever. No, I don't want to see them. I want to be in the Big Ten championship game playing somebody else. I'd rather see that. But like, if Illinois is able to make it that far and they happen to be playing against Purdue, whatever. I mean, the only other takeaway for me, and again, I'm just glad that he's not hurt. But you got to give more to Trent Frazier. This is the guy that we've been ranting and raving about all season long, and he finished the game with all of 2 points. Can't have that. Can't have that. Gonna need more to him. Obviously, getting 15 out of Curbelo probably made up some of that difference from what we've seen out of Trent. But if he's trying to make a case for all Big Ten, you can't go dark in the biggest moments. So, but again, I'm just more glad that he's not hurt. And then it looks like he will be fine. So that's the bigger takeaway as far as Trent's concerned.
It was a bad game. One of Trent's worst games, I think, in a long time. I don't know how long, but in a long time. 2 points, I think, total. How many?
0 for 4 from 3. He was 1 for 7 from the field. He had
with another air ball.
1 layup. Yep, another air ball. He had 5 assists, 2 turnovers. Got a steal, 1 rebound. Yeah, not good for Trent. But as we've said, there's more basketball to be played. So.
We could talk about Curbelo. What we thought of Curbelo. He played 21 minutes. He was 4 for 10, so he's still taking shots that he probably doesn't need to be taking. He had a 3 from the corner, which was big. But just still, and it's not just him. It's sometimes this team, they just go stupid. And it comes out of nowhere. Like the first half tonight, like I don't know if we said it on the post game or on the stream. They threw the ball into the crowd 4 times in the first half.
Yeah.
Curbelo did it twice. Frazier did it once. It's just, and I said, you asked me at halftime, right before the second half started, what I wanted to see in the second half. And I just said smart basketball. I just want this team to play a smart basketball game for 40 minutes. Doesn't even have to be 40, for 35 minutes. Just play smart basketball. I just feel like they go in these stretches and not these droughts. I always talk about these droughts. They went into that drought in the first half today. Purdue went on a 19-3 run or something like that, or to at least a 12-0 run in the first half, and Illinois was able to come back. Aside from those droughts, they go into these stretches where they just play stupid basketball.
Yeah.
So if you can just play 35, 38 minutes of smart basketball, this team's going to win more games than they're going to lose. And I know they've done that this year as well. But in games like this, you got to play smart. On the road against a top 5 team in the country, you got to play smart. And there were moments tonight that they didn't.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's look ahead for the Illini. Coming up, Super Bowl Sunday, they are going to be hosting Northwestern. That is a 1 o'clock Central Time tip in Champaign. A game, obviously, they should win. And if you don't win that, then there are more issues to be had. After that, though, it's not easy. They go to Rutgers on Wednesday of next week, which Rutgers is very much a winnable game, but any road game in the Big Ten is tough. So you have to think you can win that game, and you should win that game because the stretch after that is at Michigan State, home versus Ohio State, which, as you said earlier, is a team Illinois has not seen yet. And I wonder if it might be a bad matchup for Illinois. I have my doubts. And then they go to Michigan, who Illinois handled the first time they played, but they did not have Hunter Dickinson, who is really, really all they have. So we'll have to see how those 3 games go. But then after that, it's like home against Penn State, home against Iowa. So that's what's left for the Illini and the Big Ten schedule. Got to start with the win at Northwestern. The loss tonight snapped what was a 4-game winning streak for the Illini. So got to start another one up on Sunday. Taking a look at the Big Ten standings now, there is now a 3-way tie for first place in the Big Ten. Purdue, Wisconsin, and Illinois are all 10-3 in the conference. They are followed by Ohio State, who's only played 10 games. I know they'll have some makeups coming, but they are 7-3 and 1.5 games back of those 3. Michigan State is 8-4, also considered 1.5 games back. So that's where the standings sit right now in the Big Ten. We kind of touched on it earlier at one point, but Wisconsin did beat Michigan State tonight. That was the other big game in the conference in East Lansing. So big road win for Wisconsin. I'll just circle back to the question, to the debate we had during the live stream when we talked about the seedings that through these various media outlets. And I believe it was Jerry Palm of CBS had Wisconsin as a 2 and Illinois as a 4. After tonight, do we still think Jerry was right, or do we think Jerry was wrong?
I think he's along the right lines. I don't know that Wisconsin's a 2. They might be a 3.
I'll ask you this. When this season ends, when the conference tournament is over, when seedings come out, how do these Big Ten teams fall in terms of seedings? What lines do you think?
Oh gosh.
Purdue's a 1.
Purdue's a 1.
What's Illinois?
Illinois will be a 3. No. Illinois will be a 3 or 4. Wisconsin and Ohio State will be a 4 or 5. And Michigan State will be like 5, 6.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Anything else you want to touch on?
That's off the top of my head. I have no idea.
Anything else from you, Craig, that you want to get at? Okay.
No.
All right. We're going to shut it down for the evening. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to our live stream tonight for the game. I know it wasn't pretty at times, but we enjoy the back and forth and chatting with some people. And thank you, obviously, for listening to this or watching this wherever you're taking this podcast in. Once again, give us a follow at No One Asked Us Pod. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at the Logan Lee. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff really helps us out, hoping to get some of those numbers up and all that good stuff. We will have probably some sort of thing for you this weekend in terms of the Northwestern game. We haven't really figured it out yet. We don't really know what we're going to be doing, but either way, there will be something coming up soon. at some point in the next few days. But if you subscribe and you hit that like or that little bell icon, then you get notified when we post something. So that'd be great. You should do that. All right. Once again, final score from West Lafayette tonight. Purdue 84, Illinois 68. Illinois hosts Northwestern on Sunday. For Craig Choate, I'm Logan Lee. We will see you guys whenever. Who knows? Peace and love.
And barbecue.
And barbecue.